Hi everybody, Baruch Hashem. We're starting the next portion in Parshas Eikev, Tefshin Nun Aleph. Reading from this book. It's a bilingual translation. It's also in English only, and we're starting on number 4, Dalet. So let's start out with the niggin. Ya 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 ya. Ya 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 di da na tzak. Ya 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 da da di da na tzak. Ya 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 da da. Oh ya 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 ya. Ya 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 ya. Ya 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 ya. Ya 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 ya. Di da na tzak. Ya 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 da da. Di da na tzak. Ay ya 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 da da ya 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 ay ya 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 di da na tzak. Ay ya 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 da da di da na tzak. Ay ya 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 da da ya ya ay ya 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 ay ya 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 ya. So we're talking about, and the whole concepts in the Dvar Malchus in general, we're talking about two levels. We're talking about before there's a level of Anilu Dodi, I'm to my beloved as my beloved is to me. One is the level of how I make, and from my abode, from arousal from below, I cause Hashem to bestow me His blessing. The one that Hashem bestows His blessings from above, Badodili. So we're explaining here in the later parshas about how we can serve Hashem from this level, that even from a devoted from below up, changing the world, changing ourselves, how we can do this from a level of obligable, from Hashem's perspective, which we'll talk about more detail. But we're trying to explain how this works. I was just discussing with Eli an example of how you can serve Hashem, and you have these negative attributes. How can you serve Hashem from the level of above down, from your essence of your soul? So there was once a person who was davening, and he was praying very fast and sure. I was just going through it, and I'm trying to pray slowly, trying to get into my prayers to God, and I was getting upset. And then I realized what the Rebbe said. He says, when a Jew does everything, and this is a very important thing, this is the Rebbe saying that when a Jew does everything, he does it because it's etzem neshama, it's essence of who he is, that he's a Jew and one with God. This is why he does it. So I started thinking, so this guy is praying with his essence of his soul, and I started looking at that his essence of his soul is causing him to pray, not because he was trained to do it or any other reason. And all of a sudden, everything turned around in myself, and I became happy. I became happy with him. I became close friends with the guy. So I mean, we have to take this concept of the highest level of everything's special and everything's wonderful, and we have to take this concept and put it in our minds. So when we see things in the world, we grab onto this, and this will help us to get to a higher level. So now we're in Dalet. So it says, and we may say similar to these. We're talking about the two levels from below up and below down. And we may say that's a similarity that we may say the Rebbe's a chiddush, he's saying something new, that similarly that there are these two tallies, two ways of looking at things, and orderly routines in the service of man. For being that Bereshis, the creation, is for the Jewish people, like it says, and all aspects of the creation, including the two aforementioned orders in time, existed, are for and are in the service of Jewish people, namely from the tally from below to above. So he's saying over here that we see that everything has both levels, and that the world itself was created for the Jewish people. It says, Bereshis bar Elokim es hashamayim v'haaretz, that in the beginning, and the word in Hebrew, Bereshis, in the beginning has a base. So it says two things were recreated before the world. That was the Torah and the Jews before that. So therefore we see that everything is so now let's go with it. And we may say that similarly that these are that these are the two tallies, the two ways of looking at the world from below up and down below, and order routines in the service of man. For being that Bereshis is the creation is for the Jewish people, that all aspects of creation, including the two aforementioned orders in time, exist and are for in the service of man, namely the tally from below up, that we go counting from below up, which begins from the first day of the week leading up to Shabbos. And the tally from above down, which begins immediately from Shabbos and blesses the 6 days. So the Jew comprises those levels. A Jew is comprised of two parts. A Jew has a nefesh elokis, a soul and a body. And the soul is part of God from above, mamish. It means mamish, we're one with God. Meaning that even in the world of tangibility, in this physical world, mamish, physical things we grasp and think, literally tangible in this physical world of Asiya, which explains in Chassidus, it's the lowest of all the created worlds, that it is part of God from above. That even now that everything here, that me, this cup, everything is part of God from above, and that his body is from the dust. That also it says that when God created, we created from dust from the ground. The man is composed of dust. You are dust, it says in the Chumash, and to dust you shall return. Dust, says in the Torah, dust referring to the concept of self-nullification. And my soul should be like dust to all in the perception to all. The Rebbe said when it says I'm like dust, means I'm totally nullified to God. I don't even exist. As a soul in the body is in a complete fashion, this is most certainly so, since even my soul shall be like dust to all. However, much more so, how much more so one's body. So generally it says that when a person in service, he's like nothing, nullifies his soul to Hashem. So how much more so one's body should nullify your body? Let's look down here at footnote 49. We say it says that how much one's more so body. Say in Bereshis Rabbah, it says, I create him, the first man Adam, from the upper worlds. That's how we were created, from the upper worlds and from the lower worlds. Dust from the earth, from the lower worlds, and he blew into his nostril a soul of life. Hashem blew from his own essence into us. This comes from the upper worlds, the higher worlds. And the Rashi's commentaries on the verse, and Hashem blew into his nostrils. What's he say? Rashi says in the Chumash, Hashem blew into his mouth. He blew into man, into us, into my nostrils, and he made for him the upper worlds and from the lower worlds. A body from the lower world and a soul from the higher world. So God created man, he created the levels in higher and lower worlds. Okay, so therefore we have both levels. Hashem created both. For one's body's perspective, dust from the ground, that the dust from the earth was created on the first day of creation. The service of refining the body must be in an orderly, gradual fashion, from below up, from easy to hard. From the level of you are dust, one should ascend to the level after that, to above level, higher level and spiritual levels, and this constitutes the main service in the training of man and service of man. In other words, we're supposed to take from the lowest level, and whatever at the beginning when we wake up, when we start, whatever we started, we're supposed to reach higher and higher levels, both spiritually, we should become more spiritual, more and just like in anything else, you always start from the ground level and you move higher up. However, from the perspective of one's soul, a Jew has the capability to do this service in a manner from above below, which is an interesting thing. Not going into the order from easy to hard, rather right away start. He does like the service with ultimate perfection in the Shabbostic-like manner, heavenly work. Since even being a soul and a body below in the world of tangible, this physical world, he is part of God from above, connected with Hashem up high, and a heavenly Jew, and he has the ability and must request of himself the perfect service from the start, including the great things and wonders, to the extent that the perfection of the day, the perfection of the day, which all the Shabbos and the rest for the life everlasting. In other words, we have to serve Hashem in such a special way that it's though everything's done. And the Rebbe goes, and now we're on number 5. So now we're talking about the question is how to serve God like this. This is what we have to think about. But this is what we can do. We can serve God. A Jew can serve God, he can be godly in his service of everything he does. And we may say that these are the two aspects of I'm for my beloved Anila Dodi, from below up, and my Dodi Li, my beloved is for me, from above below, which are also alluded in the days upon which Rosh Chodesh Elul occurs this year, the days of Shabbos and Sunday, which express the general content of the soul's search, which a Jew must make of his service throughout the days of the year, that in his service of every single day, both in the weekdays as well as the day of Shabbos and the holidays, there must be both orders. So the Rebbe is saying here that we see here that another thing is important to see, that we see that when the Rebbe said this, that Rosh Chodesh Elul came out 2 days, always is 2 days, and the first day was Shabbos, which is the last day of the month of the prior Jewish month, which is Menachem, but it's Rosh Chodesh, and the first day is the first day of Elul. Now, depending on how long the month is, some months have 1 day Rosh Chodesh, and some have 2. The one have 2 day Rosh Chodesh means the 30th day of the prior month is Rosh Chodesh. The months have 29 days; they have only 1 day Rosh Chodesh. That starts the first day of the month. So here we have the Shabbos started at the first day Rosh Chodesh and Sunday. But not so. He said you have to have both levels. You must have the Shabbostic level, that everything's finished, everything's done, everything's wonderful. We just gonna go out and enjoy life. We're gonna enjoy the world and change it with great joy because we know we're there. We can do it. So one is you have to have both levels. A service in an orderly, gradual fashion from below to above. This, you're working from one level to another, and this must be even on Shabbos and holidays, even on the day that comes once a year, Yom Kippur and Simchas Torah, when we are at a service above the confines of limits, as emphasized in the fact that all the days of the year, even Shabbos days and holidays, are counted according to the tally of the days of the week from below up. Monday, Sunday, we have 7 days a week. And we may say that the song of the day of these days, and we say in the song of the day of these days, and each day in prayer, when we say this is the Yom Rishon the Shabbat, Yom Shep, this is the first day, the Lashon, exact Lashon, let's look it up here. Say this after prayer. So each day is part of Shabbos. We start saying Hayom Yom Rishon, but Shabbos. But this day the Levim used to sing the Beis Hamikdash. They would say the first day of the week, but every day is, so therefore we have every day is the first day of the week, the second day of the week. So we start from the lowest level to the highest level. So that's one level. We start from below up. On the other hand, we're numbered at 2, so over here on page 69. And on the other hand, every day, even the weekdays, there must be extending from the soul of a person a service from above to below. Even during the weekdays, similar to the service of Shabbos, like the exposition of the school of Shammai would say on the verse we read. Now the Rebbe is going to go and explain that over here there's 2 concepts here. Shammai would say, would always think every day was like Shabbos, so he would find something special and he would say, this is for Shabbos. So it was living Shabbos. Any time he's looking, he was thinking of Shabbos. And Hillel was different. Hillel would say quite the opposite. Hillel would say, so during the week, that means Shammai was living Shabbos. He would find something, a nice piece of fruit, and it was beautiful. And he says, this is Shabbos. This I'm saving for Shabbos. And then the next day, he would find a nicer piece of fruit. So they would say, this is for Shabbos. Then he was living Shabbos during the week. And then, but Beis Shammai says, well, there's a difference in Beis Hillel. Let's say when it goes over here. Okay. And on the weekday and every day, even in the weekdays, there must be extending from the soul of the person a service from above to below. Similarly to the service of Shabbos, like the exposition of the school of Shammai on the verse, remember the Shabbos day to sanctify it. Meaning, what's it mean? That you should remember it from the first day of the week. That if you come across a good portion, you should prepare it for Shabbos. Like the practice of Shammai the elder says that all his days he would eat in honor of Shabbos. How so? How was he eating Shabbos every day? Must have great food. If he would find a nice animal, he would take it and say, this is for Shabbos. Then if he would find a nicer one, then he would take it and designated for Shabbos. This means that also on each of the weekdays he was permeated with and performed a service similar to the completion of the service of Shabbos, whereas Hillel had a different perspective. Namely, he would say, "Blessed God who provides our needs on a daily basis, the order of service from below up." So Hillel would say, let's see. So Hillel was different. Hillel would say that Hashem's providing me wonderful things and it will provide me from tomorrow a better thing. In other words, he was explaining, I'm doing this level and tomorrow is a higher level and Hashem will provide me whatever I do tomorrow. Let's see, he has a footnote over here, 59. And according to this, we can truly appreciate how both opinions are true in Jewish law and the actual service of Hashem. Both of these opinions are words of the living God. See Shulchan Aruch Admar Zaken, that even Hillel admits that it's more correct to act according to the opinion of the school of Shammai. And even according to Shammai, he would say if you find a nicer one, then he would take it and designate it for Shabbos and would eat during the first day of the week. Since every day there must be both aspects. So in other words, even Hillel would do such a thing. He would find something good and he would put it away. The service of God from above to below, the characters of Shammai, and the service of from below to above, the characters of Hillel's conduct. So now we see that we have to have both levels of Shabbos and the weekday. And regarding the Jewish people as a whole, these two aspects are differences between Yisachar and Zebulun. So we see that in general there are 12 tribes, and then two of the tribes in Israel, one tribe was businessmen, and they would do business and they would give all the money to support the Jews who were learning Torah. So we see that both of them are important. And one was like the voda from below, the businessman, and one was the voda from above. So there was a partnership. So we see that there are the two aspects between Yisachar and Zebulun. Yisachar represents masters of Torah, which their main service is Torah study, the aspect of Shabbos, the service from above to below. Zebulun represents businessmen, whose main service is in performing the commandments which are vested in the physical things and the ways of the nature, which are associated with business transactions, work of the workdays, which in an order from below up. So I said, we see that there's both of these things work together. Now we're in number 6, page 71. And amongst the 2 days of Rosh Chodesh Elul this year, Shabbos and Sunday, the main day is the second day of Rosh Chodesh, Sunday, when the days of the month of Elul begin to count, whereas the first day of Rosh Chodesh, Shabbos, is the 30th day of the month of Menachem Av, as is expressed also in the fact that the second day of Rosh Chodesh, most matters and customs in the month of Elul begin, like the daily blowing of the shofar, and only very few things begin on the first day of Rosh Chodesh. So we see, according we see that there's 2 days Rosh Chodesh, but the Rebbe is pointing out here that the second day of Rosh Chodesh is already tied in more to the month of Elul, because we see the customs that we do the whole month start on the second day of Rosh Chodesh, which is the first day of the month of Elul. And now we're going to say, and we may say the reason for this in correlation to the days of which Rosh Chodesh occurs in this year, that the Rebbe is going to learn something new. So here we have Shabbos and then Yom Rishon. Just as in the general psalm, I am for my beloved and my love is for thee, Anila Dodi B'Dodi, the initial and the main aspect is I'm for my beloved, Anila Dodi, the service from below, and afterwards comes the manifestation from above. You pray to Hashem, you arouse Hashem to come down and be part of you, and we will be with you, as explained above in chapter 2. Likewise, this is regarding the service of man itself, that the main and fundamental aspect is that I am for my beloved. This is the main thing, the service from below to above, extending from the body of a Jew, which from the dust, this low big physical body, and afterwards, in addition to this, comes the aspect of my beloved is to me, that service from above below, extending from a soul, and furthermore, and the complete power to be able to do so, the service. And furthermore, the complete power to be able to do the service. I am my beloved, and my beloved is for me. The revelation of the soul comes specifically through the aspect of I for beloved, as we will explain. So another Rebbe is saying, says we have two levels: the level of I from above down, how everything's finished, how we're working with our godly soul to serve Hashem, and everything we do. And he says, and the second and the other level is that we're working from below up, not from this level that we're going slow. The Rebbe said, Dafka, only when we reach a true level, when we're working from below down, do we reach the true highest level from above down. We bring it, that's going to explain. And similar in the tally of time, when you're counting times, the main tally of the days, the main counting of the days is from Sunday. Only in addition to this, there's a concept of Shabbos before the creation. So generally, the world of creation starts from the first day of the week and from below up. We do see, though, that there was a Shabbos before creation. And the correlation, and in correlation with this, that the second day of Rosh Chodesh, the main one of the 2 days of Rosh Chodesh Elul, occurs on the first day of the week, since this expresses the beginning of the main evaluation month of Elul, the service of I am for my beloved, Anila Dodi, from below to above, the concept of Sunday. Only since this is an evaluation which includes the aspects of, only since that this is an evaluation, or you're making an accounting, a soul search, which includes all the aspects of service. It includes also the services I am my beloved and Dodi Li. So the whole service of Elul is to work from below up to change yourself, but it also includes the level from above down. As alluded in the first days of Rosh Chodesh, on the day of the Holy Shabbos, which is the concept of a service from above to below. So the Rebbe is saying that we see this, that Rosh Chodesh Elul it comes the second day of Rosh Chodesh of the first day of the month. This is the service from below up. But included in this, included serving God from your essence of your soul. This is from above down. The Rebbe says that's included. We see this because the first day of Rosh Chodesh is on Shabbos. And Shabbos is devoted from above to below. Remember, what's the story I heard that I saw where a person went into Yechidus. It was first. We used to be in earlier times, Baruch Hashem, was several times I had the Rebbe. Used to be at a private audience. It used to be in earlier times, in the 70s and before, that you would get a private audience with the Rebbe. You would stay up till 2, 3 in the morning. Amazing stuff, and I saw amazing miracles by the Rebbe. And you would see this amazing stuff. And there was one Baruch went in, a young yeshiva student. He had his first time he was able to see the Rebbe, and he wanted to figure out. He was thinking, what should I ask the Rebbe? This is like a one-shot deal. What is this? I'm sitting in one of my most important times in life. I want to know what is a good thing I should ask the Rebbe so I can serve Hashem better. So he went and he asked the Rebbe. He said, "How can I serve Hashem with joy?" And the Rebbe looked at him and he said, "The Rebbe didn't. I don't understand your question." He says, "You have a soul from above. Of course, you have to serve Hashem with joy." So this is what the Rebbe is talking about. That we have to realize that we're part of God ourselves. And that's whatever we do, that's how we do our life. How many minutes do we got here? 23. The explanation of this. How do we have both levels of the same from below up and down below? This we're on chapter 7, page 73. The set routinely service of man is the service of I'm for my beloved from below above. Since being that Hashem desired to have a dwelling place for himself, blessed be in the realms below. The service must be in accordance with the confines and the lowest realms and the laws of nature which Hashem set the world, the lowest realms, to run by, are in a manner that we must go from succession from a lower level to above, from low up to from easy to hard. And regarding Torah study, like we see, how do we see from easy to hard? And everybody said that's the way God created. Why do we have to work from below up? Because God decided that he wanted to have a dwelling place here. He wanted to make the whole world a dwelling place for Hashem. So in order to do that, we have to be part of the world, and we have to work according to the ways of the world. We even see this, as Rebbe says, regarding Torah studies. As a boy of 5 years old begins studying scriptures, which is the written Torah, the 5 books of Moses. 10 years old, he begins studying Mishnah, which is a higher level, until we go to different higher levels. You only go more in different ages. So according to this, we see that even in learning Torah, they start from a more simple level to a higher level. And according to this, it comes out that although the service of making a dwelling place in the lowest realm is accomplished both through the service from below to above, as well as through the service from above to below, however, it is more emphasized in the service from below to above in accordance with the confines of the lowest realm. So the Rebbe is saying here that we emphasize, because what we're doing is changing the world. We're taking the physicality things in the world and putting it together and refining it into making a holy temple, making it something super special. So therefore we have to know how to work and do with these things. When they built the Beis Hamikdash, when they built the Holy Tabernacle, you could see it was all these physical, amazing when you look at the details that they had to do in building it. Because you have to start from below up, and you had to have people who, when they built it, they were experts. They started young learning these trades, and they became experts. So everything was from below up. And notwithstanding the fact that a Jew has a soul, which is from the upper realms, literally part of God himself, from above, which gives him the power of the service from above to below, as explained earlier. However, Hashem sent the soul below to be vested, being clothed, to come down into the physical body, which is from the lowest realm, the dust from the earth, the body from the lowest level, in the low world, of which there is no lower than it. In the Chassidus, it talks about worlds. It means world means higher worlds are less, or God is more revealed. Doesn't mean like another, like there's a world here and a world there, like a physical, this world, he's in that world, he's on the moon. It means that each level, the level of world means hiddenness. So this is the lowest of little. God is more hidden. That people don't even know that God exists. In the higher spiritual worlds, everybody knows God exists. So it says that he brings down that, however, Hashem sent the low below to be vested in the physical body, which is from the lowest realms, dust from the earth, in this low world, which is there's no lower than it. And Hashem did this since this compromises the ultimate intention of all matters. Since this comprises the ultimate intention of all matters, that a Jew, a soul in the body, shall make a dwelling place for him, being he, blessed be he, in the lowest realms. And therefore, the main and routine service of the Jew consists of a service with his soul as it is vested in a body, and service which the ways of nature in correlation with the confines of the physical body and the nature world, a service from below to above, I'm for my beloved. In other words, we have to do work with our physical world. We can't become, the other religions say you mushad, you just think about, you separate from the physical. We don't, we have to work through the physical world. And also the service is not only, but when you're working from below up, you also have to work from above down. And also the service of an ayimad beloved before an vadodili, drawing down from above to below, i.e. the service of revealing the soul must not be in a matter that it is removed from the physical world, rather in a matter that drawing down from above to above, that my beloved is for me, i.e. the being of the person that, i.e. what's it mean my beloved is for me, i.e. this means to say the being of the person, the body. Oh, in the being, excuse me, I just said right. Rather, in a matter of drawing down from above to below, it says, and my beloved is for me, i.e., in the being of the person himself. In other words, we bring down this level of my essence of my soul into my body. And according to this, we may say that the reason as for why the main counting the tally of time for the Jewish people is from the first day of the week, for seemingly since the creation man was on the sixth day of the week. Why don't we start counting the sixth day? That's when I was created. And every person is likened to the first man, which therefore man was created single. Therefore, we're like each one of us like Adam and Rishon, which indeed that this is which indeed then was the phenomena of Hashem said, O God, form man from the dust of the earth. However, in a manner that he blew into him his nostrils or soul, like God gave his essence into us, literally part of God from above, being that this is so, that the counting, the tally of time by man should begin from the sixth day, because that's a level of completion. That's when we first gave, the day of the week. Why do we start the first day of the week? I.e. the sixth day. This day should be the beginning of your creation. Should be the first day of the week. Oh, so why is this? Why don't we do like this? Only since the purpose of creation is to make a dwelling place in the lowest realms, in the lowest of which there is no lower than it. Therefore, the service must not begin with completion of service on 6 days, after the completeness of the entire creation. And God saw that he says in the Torah, and God saw that he made, and behold, it was very good. And everything is completely ready in order that he, the man, can enter into peace immediately. Rather, for the most lowest, from the easiest start from below to above. In other words, we have to, why does it start Yom Rishon, the first day of creation, and not the last day of the creation? We could really start, the Rebbe says we should start, because when man was created, so from man, from there we go on. He says, because it has to start from the lowest level first. And on the contrary, specifically in the lowest realms of the dwelling of before him, blessed be he. And on the contrary, specifically in the lowest realms, the dwelling for him, blessed be he. We're supposed to make a place in the lowest realms for him, for his essence. Only here we can reveal is brought into fruition. Only down in this physical world we can reveal God's essence, not in the higher worlds. Similarly, how this is in regard to the creating of the creation, that the power of the true existence Hashem is manifest specifically in the created being, for he alone has the power and ability to create something from nothing. So, what the Rebbe is explaining an amazing thing. In other words, when we're learning Chassidus, we learn other places, we hear that everything is nothing before Hashem. So why is this world so special? Because in order for Hashem to create something that appears to be an existence by itself, Hashem is the only thing that could do it. Because Hashem is the only existence, only true existence. Only the true existence can make something that appears to be true existence. So it says, only here we see the power of the God's essence in this physical world, not in the higher spiritual worlds. And similarly, we say regarding to the soul and the body, that the complete revelation, the part of God from above, literally, and he blew it into his nostrils, the soul of life, which gives power for a Jew to do his service with ultimate perfection in a manner of, my beloved is for me, but Dodi Li, from above below, is revealed specifically in the soul as is clothed in the body. It's not from the soul above. Below in the world of tangibility, and through the service from below to above, I'm for my beloved, and Iladodi, in accordance with the confines of the body. Specifically, you can reveal the highest levels of godliness. The essence of Hashem is only revealed in the physical, below here. Similarly to the phenomenon that everything came from dust, even the globe of the sun and the moon and the stars, and the legions of the heavens, the hosts of the heavens. And in a similar vein, we can say, in regards to the body, which is made from dust, since in him, the created being, there's the power of the essence of God, the true existence. Therefore, it is through him, divesting the soul in the body, that all things are drawn forth, even the lofty matters of heavenly above, which come about from the essence of blessed be he. I'm not sure what this is. I'll go over this again. Okay. Similarly to the phenomena that everything comes from everything's from dust, even the globe of the sun and the moons and the stars and the legions of heavens. And in a similar vein, we can say that in regards to the body, our physical body, which is made from dust, since in him, the created being, there's the power of, like we said before, the essence of God. The essence of God is in the physical created being, the true existence. Therefore, through God revealing his essence in the physical body, vesting this, when the soul becomes enclosed in the physical body, all the things are drawn, all things are drawn forth. So, and when the soul comes down, it reveals in the physical body how the physical body is the essence of Hashem, blessed be he. Explains another, specifically, as we finish this, I'll explain it. Similarly, through the service of elevating from below and lowest the body. The greatest elevation is consciousness, even of the most highest, the part of God from above, literally. As is known, the knowledge for this, that and the weight and that when you the weight of the mountains with scales, that there's an elevation of the loftiest matters accomplished specifically through elevating the lowest matters. So it says over there, so he's talking about here a concept that when you elevate something with scale, when you elevate when you elevate one thing, it lifts everything else up. So I mean, we learn in another place where we talk about the idea of the soul and the body, and he says that the soul is when God, we talked earlier, when God chose the Jew, he chose the physical body of the Jew. That's his true soul. That's his true showing, that the soul in the body. The Rebbe says, Dafka said the body. So how's it work? So your body is, by essence, part of God Himself. It has the essence we said about Hashem Himself in it, but it doesn't realize it. It doesn't know it. Just like Jews, we see so many Jews who are wandering, like myself and many other people, who are like just wandering around. We have the essence of Hashem, the in us, but we didn't know about it. We were lost. So then we find out God brings us and enlightens our soul being and shows us Torah mitzvahs. So we start revealing and start through the body, start doing Torah mitzvahs. And all of a sudden the body, by doing and Torah mitzvahs, we reveal how the body is a special holy and reveal the essence of the body. And this level of the essence of the body that comes in the body comes back and gives back to the soul, that the soul receives a higher level. Sei gesund, everybody. It's Hashem will start soon, tomorrow or the next day, on number 3. You just have a wonderful, wonderful day, wonderful week. And remember that we're all special, godly people, and our job is to remember how special we are and to take this specialness in everything we do and make the world a special place for Hashem to bring Gula Shlema right away.